Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I want to start with something that might make you uncomfortable, because it's true. Most men think women crave looks, status, or confidence. But here's the twist. None of those things mean anything if you ignore this one habit. And the reason most men never see it is because women are masters at hiding how much it actually matters. Stay with me for a moment, because once you understand this, you'll start to see her reactions change in ways you've never seen before. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe and like this video. It helps more men like you understand the truth about how women really think. Now, here's what no one tells you. Women don't fall in love through logic. They fall in love through emotional consistency. And the habit that 99% of men ignore, the one women secretly crave, is emotional presence. Not fake attention, not constant texting, not grand gestures, but the ability to be fully there when you're with her. That quiet confidence that says, "You have my focus, not just my words." When a woman senses that, something shifts. Her defenses drop, her attraction deepens. She starts to feel safe, not just physically, but emotionally. Because in today's world, women are surrounded by men who are half present, scrolling through their phones, nodding without listening, speaking without seeing her. The man who's fully present stands out like light in darkness. But here's the painful truth. Most men never develop this habit because they confuse distraction with dominance. They think acting detached makes them appear strong. It doesn't. It makes you invisible. A woman craves the man who can be calm and attentive in a world of noise. That's rare. That's magnetic. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have everything figured out. You just have to show up fully. Look at her, listen with your eyes, speak with intention. That habit alone triggers something ancient in her psychology, a deep recognition that you're a man who's safe enough to let her feminine energy flow. When you master this, everything changes. The way she touches you, looks at you, trusts you. It's not manipulation, it's emotional alignment. And once you see how powerful this small, quiet habit is, you'll wonder why you ever ignored it. Most men underestimate how much women feel before they think. And emotional presence isn't just about being physically there. It's about being mentally and emotionally attuned. It's noticing the subtle shifts in her energy, hearing the unspoken words, and responding in a way that makes her feel truly understood. This is the habit women crave, but almost no man practices. Think about the last time you were with a woman who seemed completely absorbed in you. You felt seen, valued, even admired. That feeling is addictive, but few men realize that women are wired to seek it consistently. A man who can offer that presence doesn't just catch her attention, he rewires her emotional chemistry. Oxytocin, dopamine, the hormones that bond her to you, they spike when she senses your focus, your interest, your undivided attention. Here's why most men fail. They think attraction is built on words, charm, or physicality alone. It's not. Women don't fall for what you say. They fall for how you make them feel. And making her feel seen, heard, and valued is a skill, a habit you cultivate over time. You can't fake it, because the second your attention drifts, she knows. The powerful men women unconsciously admire aren't the loudest or richest. They're the ones who can anchor a room emotionally. They create a safe bubble around her mind and heart, and in that bubble, she relaxes, opens up, and reveals her desires. This is where emotional presence transforms into influence, not manipulation, not control. Influence born from trust, connection, and subtle psychological mastery. Here's a practical way to start. When she talks, stop planning your response. Listen fully, let her words wash over you. Notice how she moves, how her eyes shift, how her tone changes. Respond in a way that matches her energy, not your ego. That's the difference between a man who connects and a man who drifts through relationships without leaving a mark. And the real secret? Once you cultivate this habit, everything in your dating life changes without saying a single pickup line. Women start gravitating toward you naturally. They open up faster. They initiate touch, conversation, and emotional intimacy without even realizing why. You become the man who fulfills a craving they didn't even know they had, simply by mastering this one habit. You're not just learning a skill. You're upgrading your presence, your charisma, your unseen magnetism. And this is why most men never reach it, because it requires discipline, awareness, and emotional bravery. Here's the part most men will never admit. Emotional presence is powerful because it's invisible. You don't need to talk about it, brag about it, or perform it. Women notice it instinctively, and they respond to it on a level deeper than words or looks. This is why so many men fail. They focus on what's visible and forget what's felt. When you're truly present, you're giving her a rare gift, validation of her inner world. Not compliments, not flattery, but the silent acknowledgement that she exists fully in your attention. And when a woman senses this, something shifts inside her. She begins to relax, to open her subconscious to your influence, to lean toward you emotionally. Attraction grows, not because you try to seduce, but because she craves the connection she feels when you're fully there. Most men think women want excitement, thrill, or unpredictability. But the truth is, women crave stability in the way you make them feel emotionally. The quiet strength of a man who listens without judgment, who responds without defensiveness, who remembers the small details. That's magnetic. That's irresistible. And yet 99% of men ignore it because it's subtle, hard to measure, and invisible to the ego. Here's what separates men who succeed from men who fail. Consistency. One day of being emotionally present won't do it. She needs to experience your presence repeatedly. It's the compound effect of attention over time. Each moment you focus, notice, and validate her emotional state. Her attachment to you strengthens. Your influence deepens. And here's the kicker. It doesn't feel like manipulation because it's not. It's authenticity amplified. Start small if you have to. When she tells you something about her day, ask a follow-up that shows you remembered. When she expresses a feeling, acknowledge it fully instead of brushing past it. When you're together, remove distractions and be there. No phones, no wandering thoughts, no half-hearted listening. Just presence. That habit alone creates more emotional intimacy than any grand gesture or flashy display ever could. Once you make this a daily practice, women will subconsciously prioritize you over other men who are physically present but emotionally absent. They'll remember how it feels to be seen by you in a world full of men who barely notice. And once she starts craving that feeling from you, attraction no longer requires chasing. It happens naturally. Let me be blunt. Most men sabotage their relationships without even realizing it. They confuse charm for presence, jokes for connection, and gifts for attention. But here's the truth. Women can smell the difference between superficial effort and authentic engagement in seconds. They crave substance, and emotional presence is the ultimate form of it. Think of it this way. When you're fully present, you're signaling to her brain that you're dependable, trustworthy, and worth her emotional energy. That's primal. Her subconscious reads it as safety, and safety breeds desire. She starts to associate you with calm, focus, and security, the exact emotional states most men unknowingly deny her. Here's why this habit is ignored by nearly every man. It requires slowing down. Being fully present isn't exciting, it's not flashy, it doesn't produce instant results. But the men who master it understand the subtle power it carries. It's like planting seeds. Each moment of attentive listening, each thoughtful reaction, each undistracted hour together compounds into unspoken loyalty and attraction. And make no mistake, women crave this consistency. When a man wavers, when he's distracted, when he's emotionally absent, the bond breaks. She senses it immediately, even if she can't articulate it. That tiny gap between presence and distraction is enough to plant doubt, insecurity, and even disinterest. That's why 99% of men never trigger the longing that keeps women coming back. Here's the actionable secret. Create moments where you are fully present, then let it sink in. Don't rush to prove yourself. Don't force conversation. Let her experience you as a constant, unwavering source of attention and understanding. This transforms attraction from superficial excitement into deep emotional dependency, without her even realizing it. Most men think women want drama, intensity, or unpredictability. Wrong. Women want emotional alignment. They want a man who can anchor their feelings without overshadowing them, who can be present in a world full of men who are absent. This habit alone separates ordinary men from the ones women secretly desire. Once you consistently practice emotional presence, you'll notice subtle shifts. She leans in more, shares more, and even initiates connection without prompting. She becomes drawn to your energy, craving the feeling you create. And the best part? You don't need to change your appearance, your lifestyle, or your status. Presence is a superpower that transcends everything else. Now, let's go even deeper. Because emotional presence isn't just about listening or looking attentive. It's about creating a psychological echo in her mind, a subtle resonance that she can't resist. Women crave this echo because it validates their feelings, amplifies their desires, and gives them a sense of being understood at a level they rarely experience. Most men never get this because they think connection is loud, demonstrative, or transactional. It's none of that. The truth is, women are constantly testing men, subconsciously, through subtle cues. A flicker of emotion, a shift in tone, even a small hesitation. If you're truly present, she picks up on these nuances and interprets them as emotional safety. She begins to trust you with her vulnerability, and once trust exists, attraction skyrockets. That's why the men who are fully present, who really master this habit, become magnetic without trying. Here's where it gets psychologically fascinating. Women crave mirrored presence. When she shares a feeling and you match her energy, neither overpowering nor underwhelming, her brain releases chemical responses that bond her to you. Dopamine, oxytocin, subtle adrenaline spikes, all triggered by your awareness and timing. You're not manipulating her. You're activating what evolution built her to crave. And 99% of men are blind to it. Another critical point. This habit scales with attention to detail. Remember the small things she says, the nuances of her expressions, the fleeting glances of emotion. A man who absorbs these details signals that her inner world matters. And women respond unconsciously. They initiate more, smile more, and even challenge you less because they sense your consistency is rare and valuable. Most men fail because they treat presence as optional, like a courtesy, but women experience it as necessity. When you show up emotionally, you create a gravitational pull. She will subconsciously prioritize your company over others, not because of status, money, or looks, but because of the feeling you evoke, being fully seen, fully acknowledged, fully understood. Finally, remember, this isn't a one-time trick. It's a lifestyle. Every interaction, every conversation, every shared silence is a chance to reinforce your presence. Women notice patterns over time, not isolated moments. And once they experience consistent presence, your influence becomes undeniable, irresistible, and permanent, without her even realizing how it happened. Here's the final truth most men will never understand. Emotional presence is a magnet, not a tool. It doesn't need force, it doesn't need manipulation, and it doesn't rely on luck. When you cultivate this habit consistently, women will gravitate toward you naturally, drawn by a sense of being truly seen, truly heard, and truly understood. That craving, it's deep, primal, and almost never verbalized. The men who succeed in love and dating aren't the loudest, richest, or most flamboyant. They are the ones who mastered the art of showing up. Every glance, every pause, every thoughtful reaction communicates to her subconscious. I'm here. I see you. You matter. That quiet signal triggers desire in ways flashy gestures never can. And because it's subtle, she often believes her attraction is spontaneous, but it's really your presence that shaped it. Think of this as a game changer. In a world full of distracted, self-absorbed men, you become rare. You become a calm in her storm, a constant in her chaos. Women instinctively seek that anchor, and once they feel it from you, everything shifts. Conversations deepen, touch becomes meaningful, intimacy intensifies, even conflicts resolve differently, because presence creates a safe emotional space where both of you can connect instead of clash. Here's the psychological kicker. Emotional presence amplifies every other quality you have. Your confidence, your humor, even your looks become secondary to the experience you create. She starts associating pleasure, trust, and excitement with you, not external factors. And this is why men who ignore this habit never reach the level of influence or attraction they hope for. They focus on surface-level tactics while missing the invisible leverage that presence provides. So, how do you implement it today? Start with awareness. Pause during interactions. Notice how she reacts to your attention and adjust to match her energy. Remove distractions. Listen actively. Respond thoughtfully. Remember details. Make her feel known in a world that rarely allows it. Each moment you do this, you're not just practicing a habit, you're building a legacy of connection that women remember long after the moment ends. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this. Presence is power. It's rare, it's magnetic, and it's exactly what 99% of men overlook. When you master it, attraction, loyalty, and deep connection follow naturally. Women crave it secretly. And the moment you give it to them consistently, you become the man they've been searching for, without saying a word.